Hello everybody, we're back again for another interesting episode, hopefully, of the James and Ori show.
Exactly.
This show comes up and it's uploaded weekly on the James and Ori show right there on YouTube. Yeah, as usual.
As usual, yes. Just in case you're not aware and you don't miss it, that guy is James. This guy is always before you think that is always actually no. This is always that's James.
No case of mistaken identity.
This
we
way.
are also on Instagram, Twitter,
Exactly.
all social media platforms. Catch Ori's Gram. I'm James Silas on Instagram. In fact, if you type the same James Silas on Twitter,
you find
it's
the same,
possible
you find
that
the same
I
guy.
find the same guy.
The same guy.
Yeah, right. So as usual, we'll beg you to subscribe to this channel. Even if you don't like what we do here on this channel, just subscribe and move on. Don't worry.
I think you do like. I think you like what we do.
I'm just saying, just in case, but just press subscribe and just move on.
Exactly. Just
you
press
don't need to talk
button,
to us.
then
You don't need to do anything. Just subscribe and move on. If you like or you take your time to listen to us, you just might want to comment, share, and let us know what you think about the shows. And if you look again, we have loads of, I don't know what episode we are on or how many weeks
but we did it for quite a bit actually.
But we try to be dedicated to this, even when we get 2 views.
Exactly.
Actually, we get more than 2 views though.
Yeah, but still.
I just have a feeling that very soon this platform is going to blow. Where will you be when this platform blows? Will you now start coming and
start saying you now want to be friends? You know, be friends now.
Think about it.
Anyway, today we have a bunch of stories, and I think the first one is from the guy otherwise known as the Ika of Africa.
Ika.
It's Ika.
That Ika is like wicked, wickedness of Africa.
Yeah,
wicked guy of Africa.
My Yoruba is bad apparently. So, but yeah, anyway, the man known to English speakers as Portable. He's back in the news. Like, well, to be honest, he never left. But yeah, he's back in the news.
Self-acclaimed baboon.
And this time, he says he's the newborn fella. And in a different video, he said the glory on his head is much more than that.
I didn't know
Michael Jackson.
This guy has been craving for an award. And
of course, yes. So the first thing he said, by the way, the bit about being the newborn fella was a hashtag he used after he got an award, I think Artist of the Year at something called Golden Star or something. Or I don't know whether it's the Golden Star Awards or he got a Golden Star at 13 awards. I have no idea, but there's Golden Star somewhere.
Golden Star Award, that's the name of the award.
Okay.
So.
And there is the fact
that they gave him.
He won.
I don't know if it's Artist of the Year or Trending Artist of the Year, something like that.
He won something anyway, and yeah, he had to remind all of us that you know what, he is.
It's the best thing that happened to the Nigerian entertainment industry after jollof rice.
Anyway, so yeah, so that's the case. So I mean, not that anybody should take that seriously, but I just wonder.
Oh come on, you can take it seriously.
Okay, you can take it. Okay.
You know, I mean, this is somebody's aspiration. This is how he feels. Take him seriously.
I don't feel that's how he feels. That's what I think. I don't feel like that's how he feels. I don't think that inside Portable's heart he believes that really he is the newborn fella. Although to be honest, a lot of people have kind of wanted to claim that thing. I think the most vocal, the most whatever of them is Wizkid, who has that fella back as his Snapchat handle. There's also Blair Schmother, who did a song with that title and newborn fella exactly as well. So. And of course, there are a lot of people from Burna Boy to even everybody pretty much takes one part of Fela and incorporates into their style, into their music.
People want to be newborn.
Yeah, because
and then the truth is that when you look at what Fela stood for, bless his soul, is way different from what all of these other. Okay, so you know it's actually easier for a Seun Kuti to want to say he's the newborn Fela or Femi Kuti, whatever. But I've not really heard Seun Kuti trying to call himself Fela. They leave Fela where Fela is. But they make music and you still connect them easily to Fela.
But I want to point out something that Seun doesn't have to, neither does Femi Onere, because of course he's inside their blood.
Exactly.
Now yeah, they won. But 2 again, listen to Seun, watch him on stage. I haven't seen Seun on stage in a while, but there was a period where I saw him on stage quite regularly, maybe 5-6 years ago. And a lot of his antics, his stage performance, his stage presence, the way he speaks, is heavily Fela. You know, so which is not saying, I'm not saying it's weird. I'm saying about Seun in particular. It's not exactly the same thing with Femi.
Yes.
Femi, the music of course is still Afrobeat, but it doesn't quite have the antics. It's not trying to, in my own view, to be honest,
feel like all be like all
to copy. Let me just use the word copy. To copy Fela directly. He doesn't really try to do that. But Seun, there was a period, I don't know, like I said, I haven't seen him in a bit, but there was a period where each time I saw Seun on stage, it was clear that it's almost like, okay, he saw this Fela video. Let's not forget, he was really young when his father passed.
Yeah.
You know, he saw this Fela video, and it's kind of like repeating some of those movements.
But
so
Boris,
everybody, even the sons too.
Would you agree that Seun was some kind of a rebel to, not a rebel like a stubborn child to the father, but you know how it is when your father is so is Fela, you know, and feels a heavy show, and then it felt like Seun was under some kind of pressure. I think he had said that maybe if he was doing something wrong, or if he was playing wrongly or something, like maybe Fela did he say Fela would beat him or look at him in a certain way or scold him?
I wouldn't know, but Fela was violent, so I would not doubt that.
So Femi somehow wanted to, you know, forge his own path.
Oh, that you are talking about Femi, not Seun.
Femi, not Seun. No, Seun was too little. That's what I'm saying. What you're saying about Seun watching and Seun and the ideology that Seun knew about.
In my view, I feel like Seun's ideology of Fela might not be much different from every other artist, in that he saw Fela mostly on stage or in a video or something. Because I really doubt that, considering how larger than life Fela lived, he would have had a lot of time for a small boy like Seun at the time.
To have passed that legacy or that field. Seun was too little.
He was too little to have actually interacted,
right?
with his father. Femi, of course, you know. Seun, I really doubt. Because
if you look at Made Kuti, for instance, and look at Femi, you can tell like there's a direct connection.
No, of course, exactly. So again, like I say, it's all about age. Yeah. What age you are. Yeah. In 1997, even if Seun is 40 this year, let's assume he's 40. 1997 is about 25 years ago. That's 15. Right. If I'm right with 15, okay, 15 or 16 years ago. Anyway, he's 25, 26 years ago. Sorry, he was kind of 15 or 16.
Okay, so but that's actually
you get
that's
good.
That's not too
no. Wait, but don't forget that by 1997, Fela 2 was in a decline. Fela, a lot of music that you know of Fela was 70s, 80s. Okay. How old was Seun in the 80s when his father was really at the peak of his career?
But they still saw, they were really, you know, their family is really close knit.
I'm not saying that he did not see.
From anybody.
I'm not saying they didn't see. But think about somebody who had this amount of women in the household, this amount of band members all over the place, this amount of hangers on and regular folks just all over the place. How many times did he really carry Seun and sit down with this 5-year-old, this 4-year-old, this 6-year-old kid? I really doubt that guy had a lot of that kind of one-on-one with. And anyway, let's face it. Recently, Yeni, that's the first daughter, gave this interview. She said that Fela wasn't a good father, good musician, but not a good father. Femi too has said that in more ways than one over the years.
Which is
so I'm not sure that Seun really sees a lot of his dad at the time. Anyway,
well, regardless, I mean, we just know that we can all agree that when you put the word Fela Kuti, I mean, don't put Don't put Portable.
Yeah. No. The thing is, no. My own is that what is happening is with Portable is what happened with every other Nigerian artist. When you are struggling for some kind of you want to be taken seriously, a lot of the shortcuts to doing that for a lot of artists is attaching yourself with Fela. Let's not forget that. Think about Wizkid. Wizkid leaves Banky W's EME. He does that song Back to the Matter, the first single he released after leaving Back to the Matter, which was like a kind of violent song, which is not what we knew Wizkid to do. One of the other songs on that second album, which of course was actually released on that EME, was a song with Femi.
Yeah.
Move that Jaye song, you know. And that stage is getting older. It's no longer the guy that sang Holla at Your Boy.
Yes.
What do this do? He goes, in fact, on the cover of the album, he has like his girls with that kind of like Fela painting on their face. Yes. You get that one. Burna Boy shows up. A lot of his serious songs is pretty much just adapting Fela directly. When Tiwa Savage got that deal and did 99.9 whatever, 99, that's a reference to the Fela song. You get? Yes. So the easiest way for an artist to be taken seriously, at least at a particular point in time, the newer guys who came after, the new cats, to quote the video, who came after those first 3 guys, all them CK, them Rema, they don't have a lot of that thing going on. Even if some of them do, because I think on Rema's album he too has something FELA-esque going on this is Rave and Roses, you know.
Yeah.
But mostly those guys that came from the Davido and Whiskey generation, almost all of them, when they felt that, you know what, I want to be taken seriously, I want to be taken seriously by the international community, I want people to think that I am serious, blah blah blah, they just, all of them just go and find something they want to pick from FELA. Is this his style? Is it the music? Is it a line from his song? You know, something like that. Yeah. So Portable is suffering from the same sickness. Like I said, Bella Shmurda too, who is not even of that age, so of a much younger generation. He himself, he says he has a song calling himself the newborn FELA. You get? So yeah, it's just the easiest, the shortcut. If you cannot be serious or be taken as a musician, that's a important one, by yourself, the next thing you do in Nigerian music is to attach yourself somewhat to the Kutis, to FELA in particular. So yeah, so Portable, I understand it, but of course, nobody should be thinking of Portable anywhere close to FELA. But of course, the same person has also told us in a video about that, yes, about how the glory on him exactly is more than that on Michael Jackson, because people were mobbing his car and he was trying to spend money and trying to drive off.
Bro, me as a nobody, if I go to on the street of Adiola or Deku, even there in Victoria Island, and start spreading money, pouring money at the bus stop, trust me, they'll mob my car as well.
They'll mob your car, but it's the other way around. Portable did not have to do that before. It was when they started mobbing his car that he decided to throw money to kind of like distract them and drive off.
Okay, you're right.
Anyway, we spent some more time on Portable, please. But yeah, moving on. Yes, I think the biggest story on social media over the weekend was Ghanaian.
Oh, yeah.
But let's leave that. Let's talk about Charly Boy. Yeah. So
actually, no. I think we can go ahead and talk about.
Okay, super.
Yvonne Nelson. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Just sort of gives brings back Toke Makinwa's
yes, the vibes. Yeah, the vibes that Toke Makinwa's book had at the time.
At the time.
So it looks to me like what is happening, by the way, is either of, I mean, if you want to, depending on how you want to interpret what is happening, it looks like if you take Toke Makinwa and you take what's her face and Yvonne Nelson now,
yes,
it looks to me like it's either the women are more literate in that they are the ones who are like writing books and talking about their experiences as celebrities in the West African space over a period of time. It's either they are more literate than the men, or they have more liberties to divulge certain information that the men don't quite have that, in quotes, privilege to do the same thing. Because I imagine that, anyway, to be honest, all of them they all have men in their stories, as anybody, as most adults would, you know, a lot of sexual stories are also being told. I just wonder if a man how a man will be judged if he did the same thing. So the background of this is Yvonne Nelson has a new book out, and she's saying it's called I'm Not Yvonne Nelson. And one of the most salacious bits of the book, of the story she tells,
of the preview of the
it's in the book. It involves her relationship with Iyanya, and how pretty much a Nigerian actress by the name of Tonto Dike was somewhat involved with Iyanya, and that complication kind of led to the breakup of their romance. I'm saying now that, slip it the other way, if Iyanya wrote a book, or if I just put something online, maybe like a series of pieces about his love and sex life, and he mentioned Tonto Dike as one of the women he slept with, mentions Yvonne Nelson and how he was interested with her, and something happened, and then he went to Tonto and he wanted. I just wonder the amount of this is not to say that Yvonne Nelson has gone unscathed. People are unscathed. There are people who are attacking her as well, you know. But I wonder that the amount of acid being poured, if it was a man who did this, I just wonder. Or if it was the other way around, when Toke did hers, her husband had written a book about how he got an STD. I think that's what she was saying. He got an STD from Toke.
How she would have felt, and how
she, I don't care about how you feel, honestly, because I think anybody will feel bad about the kind of situation, you know. But mostly, like, how will the world take a man being candid about his sex life?
It's actually crazy. I mean, look at what going by what you're even saying, that is that the women are more vocal, more literate, or somewhat,
or they just know that they are in a position that men cannot be,
you know. Because really, I mean, in that same book, there's been, so let's just put it out there. I've not read the book personally, but I'll just take it from excerpts from.
Yvonne, if you're watching this, please make the book available in Nigeria. I will buy it.
That the book might not just only be physical, might also be digital. So I'm sure if we check, we'll be able to find it.
I want the physical one. If she was typing it online, different, but I want the physical. If she had like a paywall to our website,
yes,
I want to hold that book in my hand.
So she also talked about her relationship with her mom, saying that she cut off ties with her mom because of a paternity issue with, regarding her true or real father. That a picture was painted to her of a man who's supposed to be her dad, but later she found out that the man who's supposed to be her dad is not even her dad. Her dad was someone else entirely, and in fact she's been carrying the name Nelson, and that's not even who her father is. So I don't know the situation or where she is with her mom right now, but I'm still saying that maybe when we read the book we'll have clarity on what exactly she was talking about there. She also talked about her relationship with Ghanaian rapper Sarkodie, and how that one had someone else who he eventually went for. Sarkodie is married now, by the way, and so is it like he would have married everyone else?
So that's the part I don't know, because I didn't read. I went to most an excerpt of that. All I saw was the fact that apparently she was pregnant for him at some point, and she had to abort the kid. That's the bit. That's all I know about it. I don't know whether she was serious or whether he picked somebody over her. I don't know that, but I know that generally in life, to not be chosen, to be honest, by somebody you want to be chosen by can be really, really, really bad for your mental health. I'm serious, you're laughing, but this thing, as a man, James is married, by the way, I'm not married, so I'm on the streets, so I know exactly how these things are.
So you've been having a couple of breakfasts? Is that what it is?
I know what you're talking about. All I'm saying is that, yes, that when stuff like this happens, man, woman, dog, whoever it is, it can be really, really troubling. Self-esteem issues, just general anger at the world, anger at the person who was chosen, anger at the person that was chosen. There's just a lot of multi-directional displeasure, being squirted all over the place. So it can be quite tough. So if that's the case, I totally sympathize with Yvonne, because it can really be something where you want to be chosen and then you're like, not you. I remember, I think a somewhat popular line in these situations is, at least I think women say this, so I'm good enough for this, but I'm not good enough for that. Tricky stuff.
If you know. So fingers crossed. I think we'll look out for that book and see.
I will. If I see it, I certainly will buy it.
And one thing is seeming to be sure that book is going to sell, because right from the entertainment circle,
it was always going to be a bestseller, even if there was nothing in this alert. Just the fact that it's Yvonne. She has, I think, 7.3 million followers on. She's one of the biggest stars in Ghana. So
even if 500,000 people.
Yeah, it was always going to be. It was always going to be an event whenever she wrote it, and then she has all of these kind of details in it. I just wish that she had understood how big she is and had done like an event too in Nigeria, maybe within like a few days of doing the one in Ghana, and made the book available here too, because I think she would have gotten whatever from both sides. But anyway, fingers crossed, the book shows up, we'll get it, and hopefully we can talk about it when it does appear in our hands, at least in my hands. But so going on to the
Charly Boy, lawsuit.
Who, by the way, I found out today that not many people are aware that he was a musician. So it just means that people really think that this guy's shtick was just like a guy who makes noise.
Popular guy.
Exactly.
I thought he was a freedom fighter, that's all.
Yeah, funny. It's funny,
Charly Boy was
Charly Boy actually had a very decent music career.
In fact, at what point he's
probably the biggest
president.
Yes. I feel like people also mentioned it earlier on radio, by the way, where we were before we showed up here, that Charly Boy was president. I don't see how that is relevant to anybody, because nobody cares about P-Man. I'm sorry, But Charly Boy's solo career was a successful one in his youth. Actually, was successful too, because he was on one of the biggest record labels at the time. So which, by the way, is the people he has an issue with currently. He says that they owe him some money and some other materials. As you probably, if you follow the Kanye West thing from a few years ago, you know that he was asking for his masters, which is, as James, who is the music exec, will tell you, the original stuff for like what you recorded. You know, you want that because that's kind of where the thing actually comes from, and anything that wants to start will start from that particular thing. So he wants ownership and he wants the physical materials back. Apparently, I think physical materials too. Back. How you get it, I have no idea, because I know that Premier Records, which is the name of the record label, they run a very skeletal operations in Nigeria currently. You know, they were big back in the day, but I think it was the 90s when all of this military and money whatever thing happened. A lot of them kind of a lot of them kind of left the country. I think it was that SAP IMF sponsored program that time that kind of caused all of that. Anyway, they left, and so now a few years ago I interviewed their GM, somebody involved with the label a few years ago.
Was it Larry?
No, it wasn't. No, not Larry. I can't remember his name then. But their interview is online anyway. So I was director of a music website at the time. I interviewed him. So I know that yesterday they do some kind of thing here. And when Maskimono died, it was also under that label. I think they did something for him, kind of, or at least attended an event or something related to him at the time. So anyway, the point is they have that small operations here, and he's taking them to court and saying, you know what, you guys owe me certain things. How that is supposed to play out, I don't really know. But I think he might have a case, and if he has a case, they'll get their day in court.
Yeah, I mean, what that is for sure for any artist is, if whatever the deal is, there's always that whole situation of paying royalties to the artist. There has to be a way that the artist is earning.
But James,
from
look, this royalty they're talking about, for someone Charly Boy who has not received any major airplay in like more than a decade, how much are you talking about?
I don't think Charly Boy is looking for money from now. He's probably looking for the money that he paid. That he should have accrued since.
But are they going to adjust it? Are they going to adjust it by inflation?
We don't know. So another thing is that a lot of those records too were not on digital streaming platforms.
Okay.
So there has to be a way.
That might be.
So
I'll check that. That'll be interesting to see whether they have that.
So there has to be somehow, some way that is asking.
Okay.
And then Charly Boy,
who knows? Maybe also do a remix.
We don't know. I mean, he did. I mean, if you put out a record like maybe 4 years ago or something, then there's a possibility that it would have been registered properly. But even the contract that we're talking about here that he's suing for had actually expired maybe many years ago. But even on that, I'm sure he's talking about something else. Like, where are my royalties from XYZ way back?
But my point is that $2,000 at that time probably something substantial. Right now it's chicken change. So it doesn't.
Yeah, but you know the thing is that if they've not even paid you at all right now, you can't lay claim of anything. Charly Boy is somebody who sees his court cases through. I was telling you something earlier about Charly Boy having suing actually he sued DSTV or MultiChoice for using his content without permission or without anything. And
would you remember the content?
I think it was one of his skits or something. I'm not very sure. Charly Boy used to do a lot of prank this on his Charly Boy show back.
Okay, Charly Boy.
Yeah, so I think it was one of his skits or something that they used, and Charly Boy sued them for it. The case took a while, but Charly Boy won, and they gave him, apart from the money, I don't know if it was like 50 million or one ridiculous amount of money that he was supposed to pay. So they paid him. I don't know if it was the exact amount that he was asking for, but they paid him and gave him a lifetime of free premiums and DSTV subscription. I want to believe that he's still enjoying it. Yeah, but Charly Boy, I'm just saying that basically that he probably sees his cases through. So if he's suing, but you know the funny thing, I mean, that's not even an excuse. Charly Boy is 73 or so, and he's suing these people. And you know how our justice system is. I don't know how long this case
is going to take.
Who's going to stand for premier music that is
that's only the part too, because I feel like if it's a thing about age, Charly Boy is immortal. That guy will go to live forever.
So I'm not saying it's going to, but I'm just saying that you know the length of time that cases take in this country.
I'm telling you, if that case will take 25 years, Charly Boy will live for 25 years. I can assure you, that man is immortal.
Whatever the case is, I mean, I don't know how much he's suing for, but I mean, we'll have more details as time goes on. And because the story is actually saying that he's threatening to sue, not like he has sued already.
Okay, threatening to sue.
The lawyers are probably putting stuff together. So, but hopefully he will not get to that point.
Let me use this as an opportunity to shade my parents' generation. You listen to we were trying to listen to one of Charly Boy's songs, and it was like, man, goodness me, it just stranded in its own time. For me, what that just says is that, look, anytime an old person tells you stuff about the music industry, tell them that a lot of the music in their day was shit.
Wow.
And yes, on that note.
Anyway, I left that WhatsApp group. I did not say anything about my parents.
I said it.
So, because my own parents used to listen
any generation that was making some of those badly recorded reggae music into hit songs doesn't have a right to tell anybody about taste. That's my point of view.
My parents were listening to Lada 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 oh. In the morning.
I did not talk about my parents or your parents. I talked about their generation as a group, all of them.
I mean, I'm focused on my parents.
All of them. You can defend your parents. Now you sabi.
When they go in, go down.
Nah.
Many people. Anyway.
Even that one.
Shout out to everybody that watched from start to finish. Subscribe, share. Tell us how you feel about this. Exactly. I mean, I don't want you to just watch and just leave.
Tell me that you like my shirt.
Let us know what you have about this show, and then we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.